Michael Jackson's Thriller behind the song lyrics. Michael Jackson's blockbuster single Thriller, which was released in 1983, had a more cosmic tone for Temperton, who had previously written several tracks on Jackson's fifth album, Off the Wall, within its lyrics. This came about when the song was first conceived. There's indication that someone else is standing on the ground. Across the nation, there's always people trying to pull you down. Now is the time for us to spend this evening close together. Deep in the night, we're holding on to someone else's dream. Girl, can't you see? We need some starlight, starlight sun. There ain't no second chance. We got to make it while we can. You'll need the starlight, some starlight sun. I need you by my side, you give me. Starlight, 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 yeah. Transformation to Thriller. The producer Quincy Jones, who was working on Michael Jackson's sixth album, enjoyed the arrangement of the song, but Starlight just didn't make it or match Jackson's developing persona. Another title that Temperton experimented with, Midnight Man, did not work out, but there was something about Thriller, and the track quickly transformed from its more cosmic aspects to something that resembled the soundtrack of a horror movie. During an interview in 2018, which was conducted around the time when the song was celebrating its 35th anniversary, Temperton stated, "I woke up, and I just said this word. Something in my head just said, this is the title." When you think of it, you could see it at the top of the Billboard charts. You were able to see the merchandising for this one word, and how it immediately leapt off the page as Thriller. It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking from the dark. Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze, as horror looks you right between your eyes. You're paralyzed cause this is Thriller. Thriller night, and no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike. Within a few hours, Temperton rewrote the lyrics to Thriller, saying, "We got Michael to spit it into the microphone a few times, and it worked." Actress Peggy Lipton proposed her friend, horror film star Vincent Price, as the master of the Thriller ceremony because she envisioned a larger spoken word segment. On the drive to the recording studio, Price finished writing his portion of Thriller. Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood, and whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpse's shell. Behind the video. The final of the album's 7 singles, Thriller, also gained new visual life as a mini-movie, partially influenced by the 1957 movie I Was a Teenage Werewolf and the 1981 movie An American Werewolf in London, which Jackson had seen before enlisting director John Landis to assist him in developing the video's plot. The horror-themed short film, which stars Jackson and Ola Ray as his girlfriend, jumps from the movie theater date scene, which is shot inside the Palace Theater in Los Angeles, to the scene where Jackson runs out of gas in the woods, and then to a more zombified performance in the streets, where Jackson dances and his cast of monsters are dressed in ghoulish makeup created by Rick Baker, with Jackson wearing the now iconic red leather jacket created by Deborah Nadoolman, the wife of Landis, who had previously worked as a costume designer on Steven Spielberg's Raiders of the Lost Ark in 1981. Thriller, a pop culture phenomenon, changed the way music videos were made from fashion to choreography. In the wake of the film, Jackson and choreographer Michael Peters created the zombie dance, which sparked more scripted, choreographed videos. Jackson, who arrived at practices wearing his monster makeup, asked, "How can you make zombies and monsters dance without it looking comical?" I worked with Michael Peters, and we grimaced in the mirror to imagine how zombies move around. With its $1 million budget, Thriller also changed the way that music videos are made in general. The almost 13-minute video, which debuted on December 2, 1983, blew up the airways of the then 2-year-old MTV and doubled the album's sales upon its release. In 2009, the first music video to be accepted into the National Film Registry, the VHS release alone sold 9 million copies. Thriller, which went from the stars to something darker, launched Jackson into pop music royalty and has continued to be a yearly Halloween hymn. The result? Thriller, which was first released on November 3, 1982, became the best-selling album of all time with 100 million copies sold worldwide. It was also the first album to receive 30 platinum certifications in the United States. The album featured hits like Beat It and Billie Jean, and it was Jackson's first collaboration with Paul McCartney on The Girl Is Mine. In a 2016 interview with the Library of Congress, Jones stated, "I always say you have to leave space for God to walk into the room, and man did he or she ever." MTV, the music, and Michael all elevated it to a new level. The forces were perfectly aligned. Thriller devoured everything in its path when it was released.